تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. وقال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع رسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد، قال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم: ولا تقربوا الزنا إنه كان فاحشة وساء سبيلا. On the last few times I've been here, we spoke about a topic that has been destroying the community, which was drug use and the widespread it has become. Among the side effects, anytime when a community its use of drug use becomes widespread, among the deadliest side effects of that is zina. Sexual deviancy becomes widespread. When people's intellect, they lose their desires, they lose the control that they have over their bodies, the temptations, the lusts, the urges. What happens afterwards? People start to sell their soul. Among the worst ways to sell one's soul is the selling of their body. Falling into zina, among the deadliest min al-fawahish. Al-fawahish are the things, the things that are said and the actions that are done that are the ugliest. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we get into the topic of how damaging this concept is to the community. Anytime when desires prevail, temptations and urges, and we follow the ways of the shaitan, وَمَن يَتَّبِعْ خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ, Allah says, whoever follows the steps of shaitan, he will command you what? Al-munkar wal-fawahish. He will command you to do evil. He will command you to do al-fawahish. Among the greatest of the fawahish, az-zina, where one sells his body. In English it would say fornication. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this body. Allah created in it lusts and desires and temptations and urges. وَكَذَلِكَ Allah created a halal avenue. The test of life is to discipline the nafs, is to control these temptations and urges. Allah has created a halal way, which is marriage and nikah. In that way, community prospers. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا, Allah says, don't get near zina. Don't even get near it. إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً, surely it is an immorality. وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا, and it is an evil path. The one who takes that direction, he will find nothing but evil. No one finds the sweetness of iman, the sweetness of life, while he's swimming in zina, among the deadliest of the fawahish. Look at this hadith. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من أشراط الساعة, from the signs of the last hour, أن يرفع العلم, knowledge will be removed. ويثبت الجهل, ignorance will prevail. ويشرب الخمر, and alcohol, the consumption of alcohol which we spoke about the last few weeks, will become widespread. وَيَظْهَرَ الزِّنَا, and zina will become here. It will be apparent everywhere. Generations prior to us, zina was hidden. It was seen as something of deviancy. We live in the worst era, where the people who commit sexual deviancy, they have pride in it. Brothers laugh about it. Sisters think it's cool. People brag about it. So and so, I did that. When you hang out with the brothers, or you know so and so, he's done that to that person. Outside, publicly. وَيَظْهَرَ الزِّنَا, the Prophet ﷺ says, do we not live in an era where the consumption of alcohol is widespread? Knowledge has become little, ignorance has prevailed, and zina has taken over. Everywhere you look at, there's a naked man, a naked woman, movies. Everything that sells is through sex. Somebody has to be naked. They're selling a car, there's a naked woman next to it. They're selling a phone, there's a naked man next to it. Movies, music, athletes, the more wicked they are, the more famous they are. Look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said among the ibad al-Rahman, the ones who earn the mercy of Allah. وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَدْعُونَ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ. Ibad al-Rahman, Allah says, who are they? Among their the sifat that Allah has given them, they are those who never worship anything else with Allah. Complete tawheed. وَلَا يَقْتُلُونَ النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. They never take a soul except in its rightfulness. وَلَا يَزْنُونَ, and they do not commit zina. Ibad al-Rahman, they don't commit zina. They stay away from it. They control their desires. They don't fornicate. They don't step out on their marriage. They stay away from the evil desires. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking about the nafs, إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. The nafs, it will command you to do evil. Among the tests and the deepest of tests in life is to control the desires. We live in an era of fitna. Everywhere you look, it's calling you to zina, to drug use, to clubbing, to shisha gatherings. احفظ الله يحفظك. The one who does not maintain, who doesn't protect his deen, he will fall into it. وَمَن يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ, Allah says, and whoever does that, يَلْقَى أَثَامًا, surely he will find a grave penalty. A grave penalty. Among the greatest of consequences when zina becomes widespread, it destroys families. It destroys families. Zina has levels. The most severest zina is zina from your family. SubhanAllah. The next one is zina from your neighbor. Beyond, to a stranger, beyond. But zina is always grave. Look at this, ya ikhwah. Among some of the most, look at the hadith here. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, every part of the body commits zina. Every part of the body commits zina. Look at this hadith. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فالعينان زناهما النظر. The eyes, they commit zina through looking. You look something, you start to have temptations and urges because you looked at it. First look, no sin. Second look, that's where the sin is written. That's the eyes. وَالْأُذُنَانِ زِنَاهُمَا الْإِسْتِمَاعِ. And the ears, how do they commit zina? By listening. Something that makes it's seductive to hear certain things. You listen to it. وَاللِّسَانُ, and the tongue. زِنَاهُ الْكَلَامِ. Some speech is so seductive that when you say it, you call a sister, you speak in a certain way, it's seductive. You're either trying to seduce her, or she's either trying to seduce you based on what? Speech. وَالْيَدُّ زِنَاهَا الْبَطْشِ. And the yad, by its touching and its feeling, it commits a zina. وَالرِّجْلُ, and the legs, زِنَاهَا الْخُطَى. when it's walking towards zina, it's committing zina. And Allah said, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. It covers all categories. Let's continue. وَالْقَلْبِ يَهْوَى وَيَتَمَنَّى وَيُصَدِّقُ ذَلِكَ الْفَرْجُ وَيُكَذِّبُهُ. And the qalb, it wants to commit zina. If you hold it, you hold it. And Allah will reward you for it. And the heart, it desires to commit zina. You hold it in, Allah rewards you. You fulfill it by your actions, by going there, by using your tongue and your eyes and your ears and everything to fulfill the zina. And you fall into a grave sin. Look at this hadith here. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يزني العبد حين يزني وهو مؤمن. Subhanallah. A person is not a mu'min while he commits a zina. The iman is removed from him when he is committing such a sin. ولا يشرب الخمر حين يشربها وهو مؤمن. And he does not drink alcohol except when he's drinking it, the iman is removed. ولا يسرق وهو مؤمن ولا يقتل وهو مؤمن. He doesn't steal, he doesn't kill except that he's not a mu'min. In the stage of zina, iman is removed because it is such an ugly deed. It is such an ugly. Many sins are out there. Why is zina selected in these few? Because it is such an ugly sin. And a zina, every part of the body commits zina. When a person is committing zina, every single part of the body tastes what? The raha, the pleasure that he was looking. And so every single part of the body will be punished. In a later khutbah we'll talk about that inshallah. But look at this. قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Allah says, warning the believers. Warning the believers about a zina in many ayat in the Quran. Among one is this one. قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze. The eyes are a gateway to the heart. Eyes commit zina before the private parts. The eyes commit the first zina. Then you walk towards it. Then the speech. Then the action. Then the kiss. Then the zina. The full blown. Tell them to lower their gaze. وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ. Tell them protect. Tell them to protect and preserve their private parts. Why? ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَهُمْ. That is pure for them. That is pure for them. You will live a healthy lifestyle. Among the greatest consequences of the zina, whenever zina becomes prevalent, like the era we live in, comes with it diseases that humans cannot find a cure for. Diseases, STDs. Zina leads to killing. Nowadays, there's an option to commit zina, and you just go to the clinic, you kill the baby. I hear it. Stories come to me. Among the saddest story I heard recently, sister was into this one brother. They lived in two different cities. She liked him a lot. She would always call out to him. She was like his fan. One day, the brother came to visit her because they've been talking for a long time. After that, closer, a zina. The guy left. Sister got pregnant. When the guy left, he changed the phone number. He changed everything. Nowhere to be seen. Because haram activities you burn in life. You can't trace him now. He doesn't even want to be traced because he knows the evil that he has done. Sister is pregnant. Now she has to tell her family, her parents, nowhere to be seen. She tries to, months go by, she starts to get a hold of the guy. No traceability, nowhere to be seen. Eventually she goes to the clinic. 3 months in, aborts the baby. How did it start? A phone call. Admiring somebody. Not taking protective measures. Until what? A zina leads to murder. A zina leading to murder. So what happened next? Now she's living in misery. She can't get married. She can't function in life. She's heartbroken. Her innocence is gone. How do you live with such a thing? A zina, then it led she didn't have the braveness to fight it through and just have the baby, because it's hard. That's why as long as you're in the right place in life, life is easy. ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَهُمْ. That is pure for them, Allah says. The same thing. وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنْ. Allah says, tell the believing women to lower their gaze. وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنْ. And tell them to protect and save her and guard their chastity and their private parts. Allah adds, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. And they should never display their beauty except that which is apparent, because the displaying of beauty leads to zina. Nowadays we have this dangerous movement where in this non-Muslim country we live in, I can dress, act however I want, it's your job to control yourself. That's unrealistic. Unrealistic. قال الله تعالى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Do not help each other in sin and in transgression. When a brother comes out naked, dressed improperly, enticing lust and urges from others, or a sister does the same, haram alayk. It's a disgraceful act. And then you say, no, it's your job to protect yourself. I can dress and act however I want. The world doesn't work like that. Our actions have an impact on one another. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم إنه كان غفارا. بسم الله والحمد لله وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. يا إخوة, we live in an era where everything that the nafs desires is available everywhere. Among the most dangerous things that destroys communities, families, societies, our health, our future, our deen, is the widespread of zina. It has become something to brag about, something to be like, you know, I'm proud of that because I was with so-and-so and I did it. Not knowing the consequences it has in life, not realizing the capacity at which this grave sin could impact one's life. قال الله تعالى, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking about قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, the believers who have succeeded in dunya and akhirah, among their characteristics, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ, they are those, their private parts, they guarded it, they protected it. The only places they put their private parts, in a halal avenue. In a halal avenue. Which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَنْكِحُوا الْأَيَامَ. Marry the brothers and the sisters and the young ones. Get them married. إِن يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاءَ يُغْنِهُمُ اللَّهُ مِن فَضْلِهِ. Even if they're poor and they can't marry, Allah will give them from His bounty. Among the greatest ways to find success is through marriage. Through marriage, ya ikhwan. Don't think you can easily go commit haram because you're poor enough to get married. Don't think that way. That's the traps of the shaitan. Get married, ya ikhwah. I want to conclude because this khutbah, inshallah, you'll have two other parts. The things that lead to zina, the consequences it has, its impact on your life, and many more. Because as zina and the sexual deviancy that's widespread today, it has conquered us. It's everywhere. To the point now, we have weakened to the point we don't notice these things. We don't notice them. Our community, we're not pushing the right things. A brother and sister want to get married, families look at the wrong things. Finish school. You got to get your money up. Why don't you just support them? Why is school a condition to get married? A brother can't hold it, sister cannot hold it. Why are we destroying the families? Why are we destroying the young ones? Anytime when we hold back marriage, zina becomes prevalent. When we make the halal hard, the haram becomes easy. The haram becomes easy. To conclude, ya ikhwah, among the people of Jannah are the ones who guard and protect their chastity, their deen. Among the greatest ways, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, he was asked, if I remember correctly, what will get most people into Jannah? What will get what will get most people into hellfire? What will get most people into hellfire? How will people end up in hellfire? قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الفم والفرج. Because they could not control their mouth and they could not control their farj, their private parts, until it led them to hellfire. But the ones who hold their private parts, who protect their deen, who safeguard their chastity and their legacy and their honor and their image and their families and beyond, they will be from the people of Ahlul Jannah. Allah says about them, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ. Those are the ones who will inherit Jannah. الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسِ. They're the ones who will inherit Al-Firdaus. هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. And in it they will be in Jannah forever. While the people who used to commit zina, violations, they'll be in Jahannam. What did Allah say about Jahannam? لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا. In hellfire, in Jahannam, there is no living and there is no dying, ya ikhwah. Protect your protect, preserve, ya ikhwah, your chastity, your deen, your image, your honor, your legacy. Do it for your families also. Command the good, forbid the evil. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إنك جامع الناس ليوم لا ريب فيه إن الله لا يخلف الميعاد اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا. Oh Allah, we ask you of knowledge that is beneficial, ورزقا طيبا, and rizq, means of living that is pure and halal, وعملا متقبلا, and all the deeds that we do, that we strive for hard to do, we would like them to be accepted. وَلِسَانًا ذَاكِرًا, and a tongue that is moist in the remembrance of Allah. وَقَلْبًا خَاشِعًا, and a heart that is always devoted to you and in the mix and in the remembrance of you at all times. Ya ikhwah, before we conclude, I want to add a point. It is embarrassing. It is embarrassing that at the start of the khutbah, only 2 lines are here. Most of you missed the whole khutbah. It is embarrassing. The 30 minutes you're supposed to dedicate to the deen, so in your betterment, so you could get a strong reminder, you come late. You come late, akhi. It is an embarrassment. 80% of you came now, and you heard nothing of the khutbah. You changed nothing from when you came into where you're going out. This would be considered a form of degradation. Ittaqillah ya akhu. Ya akhi, ittaqillah, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Come to the khutbah on time. It's 12 o'clock, 11:55 now we start. 12:25 we're going to end. Come early, akhi. What's the point of coming in the last 30 seconds? What's the point? You're healthy. You're strong. Allah gave you so many blessings. You can be strong and be on time for 30 minutes? Embarrassing, Allah. And that will play out in your life. If you want Allah to be there on time for you, when you are in need, when you are sick, when you are going through something, be there on time when Allah calls you to the remembrance. It is embarrassing. It is embarrassing, ya ikhwah. Wa aqim as-salah.
الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح